You can't plan the weather, but you can plan how you'll respond when it hits. I'll walk you through the key principles grounded in research and on farm experience. If you want the full breakdown, check out my full article in Better Farming Prairies this month. So, in case you're new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Scott Gillespie, and I'm an Alberta based author, podcaster, and independent agronomy consultant focusing on practical, science backed advice. I have nearly 2 decades of experience in dryland and irrigated specialty crop systems, working across organic, conventional, and regenerative farms. Now, you're listening to this as a podcast or maybe watching it as a video on Spotify or YouTube, but I also send this exact same content out on MailChimp. So that just goes right to your regular email. I also send it on LinkedIn. If you look for the episode link in the transcript, that will take you to my website and you can sign up for any of those if you want to get it that way. So, now to this month's content: damage control, frost, heat, and hail. Your response doesn't have to be unpredictable. Now, frost damage is hard to look at, but the worst thing you can do is make a quick decision. Give your crops time, usually 5 to 7 days, to show whether they'll recover. Cereals like wheat and barley often survive better than broadleaf crops since their growing point is below ground early on. Even if the stand is thinner than you'd like, it might still outyield a late reseed, especially if it's uniform. The cost and delay of reseeding can sometimes do more harm than good. Now, heat stress hurts most when it lines up with flowering. Canola and peas are especially sensitive. Canola can abort flowers at just 27 degrees when there are warm nights, and peas often shut down early in dry heat. Lentils, chickpeas can handle it better, but even they struggle in long, hot spells. For cereals, heat during grain fill shrinks kernel size and test weight. Now, the best defense is avoidance. Earlier seeding gives your crop the best shot at getting through sensitive stages before the peak summer heat hits. Hail is the wild card. And if you go to my website and look at the post there, you'll see a picture from NASA showing a massive strip through Alberta that they caught from space. And it doesn't matter how good your agronomy is. When it hits hard. But not every hailed crop is a write off. If it strikes early, many crops can regrow. If it hits late, recovery is limited. The best thing you can do is to have the most insurance you can. The insurance can soften the financial blow, but then you can get looking at whether you can get some value out of it. It could be seen as a soil healthier, or it could be used or sold as animal feed. Now, 3 rules before feeding it: always report to your insurance provider before doing anything. Check grazing intervals, because if you sprayed a fungicide recently, it may not be safe to feed it yet. And get the crop tested before cutting or grazing. It could be high in nitrates. So always consult your nutritionist first or advise the purchaser to test to be sure. And you'll probably hear a lot of claims about foliar nutrients, biostimulants, recovery sprays, and especially after a stress event. Now, some of these products have valid uses, but most don't show consistent yield benefits in third-party trials, unless you have a known deficiency or a specific disease. Plants start responding to stress on their own immediately. What they need most is time, sunlight, and moisture. If you're curious about a product, just at least leave a check strip. Now, some will say that a hailed crop needs more nitrogen to recover. Now, that depends. If you already fertilized well and your yield potential is lower, extra nitrogen might not pay, especially if maturity gets pushed further back into frost risk territory. And fungicides, use them when the disease pressure is real, not just because the crop looks rough. And remember, most disease after hail is bacterial. Fungicides won't protect you from that. Now, to read the complete article, go to the link on the episode page or search out Better Farming Prairies and look for the May-June 2026 edition, and you'll find my article on page 50. So thanks for your attention. If something resonated, please let me know. I'd love to hear from people, and sharing this edition in your social networks, because I'm not in all of your social networks, whether it's a post or to a small group of friends, to colleagues, clients, it's very much appreciated. You can also support me by picking up my book, Practical Regeneration, or reaching out for agronomy support. And all the information can be found on my website, www.plantsdigsoil.com. So here's to growing more, believing less, and always digging a little deeper.